Yo guys, what's going on and welcome back to a brand new episode of my F1 2019 career mode. Here today for episode number 17, round 17 for the Japanese Grand Prix at the legendary Suzuka circuit. If you guys missed the last episode at Russia, then watch the race guys by clicking on the card in the top right hand corner of your screen, and there'll also be a full playlist link up there as well if you missed any of the episodes so far in this season. Now for this race we are here, and you talk about the title, there's some big news. Now first of all, no rain expected this weekend on the weather forecast. Also, in terms of R&D, no big teams bringing any major developments. It's pretty much, I think most people now have got one eye on next season. But first of all, let's get into the juicy gossip of this episode. And Charles Leclerc is back in Formula 1. Where? Well, it's Racing Point. As you can see on screen, Perez has gone to Renault, Hulkenberg has been kicked from F1, so Perez takes his seat, and Leclerc, who was vacant and not driving on the grid, he slips into the vacant Racing Point seat left by Sergio Perez. So a very interesting mix there, and my first driver transfer in this year's F1 2019 career mode. So make of that what you will. We might see both Leclerc and Perez, especially Leclerc, out on track. I guess we'll see where they are, but Leclerc back in F1, good to see, and he's with Racing Point. But we're now going to jump into practice. And straight away, I've got to say, guys, Japan, the AI are ridiculous. Absolutely mad. It's the most overpowered track I think I've ever seen. I went down from 108 all the way down to 104 for this track. And even then, they were too tough. So what happened was, I did 104 in practice and qualifying, and I even went down to 103 for the race, because they're so strong around here. And you know, I saw a tweet a few months ago saying that they've been improved around Japan because they were slow, and I was like, I'm not sure about that, because I thought they were quite quick last year, and this year they're just way too fast. So yeah, overall we turn it down a little bit because they're literally unbeatable, and ultimately, you know, it's kind of tricky to enjoy it when you're literally getting smashed by Racing Point and Renault cars. So yeah, we done practice, we got through most of the programs. The qualifying performance test was literally impossible with 104% AI. It genuinely was. I was like 6/10 off. It wasn't even close. And yeah, you just saw a glimpse there of Sergio Perez in his new McLaren race overalls and, you know, his new environment. Quite a late point of the season, Suzuka, for a driver transfer, but still it's happened nonetheless, and we move on regardless. But now we're going to jump into qualifying, and we need to focus because, you know, it's crunch time here. We've got 5 races left, give or take, 6 including this one. Sorry, no, 5 including this one, and the pressure's on because, you know, Lewis has got a very big lead in the championship, and we need to try and cut that down because otherwise we're running out of races to really win over the points. Now in Q1 we went out on the medium tyres, going to try my luck on those early on and see if I can get through to Q2 on this tyre, and overall the lap was okay. It wasn't great. I seem to be dropping a lot of time in this final sector to the AI in the chicane. I don't know why. I think my gut tells me it's just traction issues because the AI have traction control, and the traction out of here in this year's game is so difficult through here. And yeah, we go P14, 1.7 off the pace, not ideal. So I had to go back out and strap on a set of soft tyres and go again because the mediums just were not quick enough, unfortunately. So yeah, we're going to run the softs and try and step up the pace. Also, I've got to say, I really struggled with my new wheel around here. My G29 was like really, I didn't really get a good feel from it, and I was messing around with the settings and I couldn't quite find what I liked, and ultimately it just contributed to me really struggling to find a good feel for this circuit along with my new wheel. So overall I think my pace isn't as quick as it could be, and that will come, I think, when I feel more comfortable with my wheel. But yeah, still in Q1 you can see that we do improve on the softs and jump up to P5 with a much more respectable lap time. Still not great, but you know, an improvement nonetheless, and that's going to see us comfortably into the second part of qualifying, even though we had to go twice. Sebastian Vettel did manage to get through on the mediums, so he was a bit quicker than me, about 0.4 of a second quicker, and that's going to be enough for him to get through on the mediums. But we're now going to jump into Q2, and this was actually my best lap of the entire session, to be fair. I went for one run and it worked, so we're going to run a ball with it now, but this was my best lap of the entire qualifying session, so let's stay with it and see how we got on. Straight away, 1 and 2, it's all about focusing on turn 2 and trying to keep it nice and tight. I ran a bit wide there, missed my apex slightly, but still not too bad. As we now go to the S, this is all about letting the car go in there and hoping the setup is good, and you can just let the car roll through and do the work. Use the gears to get the rotation if necessary, and short shift of course for ultimate traction. Carrying a lot of speed there through Dunlop up the hill, and that was pretty much my best first sector of the weekend. And I'll never hit a first sector as good as that ever again, I think, in this weekend. But we're still down on Vettel's time by quite a bit, so it just goes to show that AI were quite quick around here. Even in qualifying on 104% AI, they were very, very quick. And into the hairpin, they're nice and tidy, no lockups on the front left, just about managing to avoid that and manage the front left into there, using first gear to get the rotation, and then easy on the power on the exit there as we go flat to the back straight. And now you're looking forward, the 50-meter board as your reference into Spoon, down a couple of gears, and then make sure they don't run too wide there, bring it back in for the second apex where it tightens up a little bit, and then get the power as soon as possible, a little bit wide there, but luckily we don't get an invalidation. And now on the power once again, using overtake to really maximise the straight line speed here, and through sector 2 we're just a whisker down on Sebastian, 2.5 tenths, so we've actually found a little bit of time there in the middle sector. And now this final sector is where I drop a lot of time, but still this time it was much better, really attacking that inside curb where the bollards are and getting the power nice and early, getting a nice smooth exit, and no wheel spin, which was actually quite rare for me. I was really struggling to get the traction down out of there, and we go P5 overall, not too bad, 27.9 and sorry, 27.8. I can't quite tell on my little screen, on my previous screen there, but it was my only lap in the 127s, which will say a lot about how my qualifying 3 went, and we were still a long way off the pace. Vettel was quick, really, really quick, as were the Mercedes, and my best lap was still a long way off, so it was a little bit concerning, but it is what it is as we move into Q3. Now my best lap in Q3 was my first one, so we're going to run aboard once again for this entire lap and see how we got on, and we're going to see how we go. So straight away you can see Lucas Weber setting the pace in the Red Bull. Let's see if we try and knock him off top spot as we go to turn 1 again. Throwing the car in, finding the brake point, a little bit too wide this time on turn 2, even wider than last time. And then on the power now as we go into the S's, Sebastian Vettel 27.7, setting the benchmark in Q3. Not a great lap for him, but still a pretty reasonable 27 there from him as we go into the S's. And it's all about, like I said, car flow, setup, and letting the car do the work for you. You can't really do much here. It's all about being a spectator and letting the car just flow through by itself. As we now go towards the Degners here, all about momentum, all about keeping it together. Don't lock up, don't run too wide into the curbs. The curbs can punish you around here. And now up towards the hairpin, looking for the brake point just after the curb ends on the right hand side. First gear to pick up the rotation, and then a very quick short shift through second and third to maximise the traction, and then flat out now along this curve to back straight. Once again looking for the 50-meter board as your brake / turning point for Spoon. Down to 5th gear, tap the inside curb as Hamilton now sets the pace with a 27.5 lap time, getting lowered a little bit there as we run a little bit wider again on the exit of Spoon, keeping it just about within track limits, and once again using overtake to maximise the back straight as we now go through sector 2, and we're down a little bit here on Lewis as we now go through 130R, and it all comes down to this final chicane. How much you want to risk it? We're going to break down to the 3rd gear, really attack it. We actually take out both of the bollards there, too much inside curve, and lucky enough the lap didn't get validated as we now go through the final corner, a little bit of a tank slapper there on the exit, and we cross the line to go P4, and it's a 28.1. So 2 to 3 tenths off my Q2 time, to be fair, not really good at all. And my final one was actually good. We was up by a tenth and a bit as we go through Degner 2, so dare I say a tenth and a half, as Hamilton improves to 27.4, but then to the hairpin I locked up the rears and I lost it mid-corner and I lost a lot of time. And yeah, there wasn't much in the lap, I think the lap I did in Q2 was kind of on the limit already. There wasn't much more time in that because there was no mistakes in that lap. So I was just hoping to match my Q2 lap, and throwing away that tenth and a half was annoying because I tried to recover it and push extra hard, but then through Spoon I got on the gas too early, and yeah, it's a spin for us to end that session, and pushing too much, trying too hard, and ultimately we just didn't have the pace. So yeah, that is the end of our session, and we're actually going to end up in P5. Verstappen actually managed to out-qualify me, surprisingly, as Lewis takes pole. Sebastian P2 splitting the Mercedes, and Devon Butler there on the second row alongside Max Verstappen. We get P5 alongside Lucas Weber, and then we've got Perez in his newly crowned Renault team, and then we got Ricciardo as well, his teammate just behind. Charles Leclerc into Q3 for the first time in the Racing Point, out-qualifying Lance Stroll, and then Romain Grosjean rounding out the top 10 there for the grid in qualifying. But overall, like I said before, this session was 104 AI, as was practice, but you kind of tell by the pace and how my Q2 lap was on the limit, and that really wouldn't have been that good anyway. I went down to 103 for the race because, yeah, I want to have an entertaining video and a good race, and I want to try and match up pace with these guys. The AI do go a little bit slower in the race anyway, and I feel like just by going down to 103 as well, we'll just bring it together at the perfect balance to the point where I think we can have a good race without really abusing it. So yeah, 103 for the race. Let's just jump into it and let's see how we get on. It's time for round 17 for the Japanese Grand Prix.
And a very warm welcome to the Japanese Grand Prix, an event that has decided a Drivers' Championship 11 times over the years and has hosted some very memorable races as well. Who can forget Kimi Raikkonen's win from 17th on the grid in 2005, or Kamui Kobayashi's incredible drive to a podium in 2012. 18 corners make up a lap of the incredible figure-of-8 Suzuka circuit, with 10 to the right and 8 to the left, for a distance of 3.6 miles. Average lap speeds around here are fairly quick. If it stays dry, then expect somewhere in the region of 136 miles per hour. With me today, of course, is Anthony Davidson, and you join us as we discuss the recent changes to the driver lineup. Can we begin by having a chat about Charles Leclerc? They've just moved to Racing Point. How do you think they'll get on?
Well, I think this came as something of a surprise to most of us, but it could end up being a bit of a coup for the team. Getting a driver with experience higher up in the field might just be the boost they need, and I'm sure they'll be a big asset as the team continues to develop their car.
With the race minutes away from starting, here's what today's grid rundown looks like. Lewis Hamilton lines up on pole position, and starting alongside him P2 is Sebastian Vettel. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Butler, Verstappen, Martinez and Faber, Ricciardo, Leclerc, Grosjean and Kevin Magnussen, Stroll, Raikkonen, George Russell and Norris, Sainz, Giovinazzi, Sergio Perez. They'll be starting further back after an earlier grid penalty. And Robert Kubica, Kvyat and Alexander Albon picks up the last spot on.
Okay, so here we are on the grid then for the Japanese Grand Prix, and we start from P5. Not the best qualifying, as you guys saw, and I've actually lowered the difficulty even more. I've been doing 104 the entire weekend. I've gone down to 103 for the race now because it's still a bit too hard, and I don't feel confident around here one bit. So to make it a little bit more interesting, a little bit more closer together, I think 103 should be about perfect. I was thinking 102, but I'm going to go on the harder side and go 103 and see if that works. In terms of strategy though, we're going to go for the one stopper here today, softs onto the hards, and pretty much I think that's going to be the strategy all the way through pretty much in terms of those who qualified in Q2 on softs. Fuel-wise, we are running one extra lap more of fuel, a little bit more than usual because I feel like I'm going to have to use it. I'm not confident in my pace, to be honest, and I'm expecting a race similar to Sochi where we kind of went backwards rather than forwards. So with that being said, we're going to jump into the race and see how we get on, and hopefully my fears are not as bad as I think they might be, and it actually turns out to be a positive race. With that being said though, it is now time for round 17 here for the Japanese Grand Prix. So let's jump into it and let's see how we get on. Right, here we go. The 5 red lights come on here at Japan in Suzuka. And it's lights out and away we go. Pretty decent start from us from a change. I never get a good start. That was actually a pretty decent one. We're on the outside though, which is not where you want to be. Luckily no one goes down the inside. Yellow flag behind. There's been a crash already, and Renault's been involved, I think, as we make our way into the S's for the first time here. Just making sure we keep it all together. I'm kind of praying Seb can challenge Lewis here today. We can't really afford to have Lewis win again. If Lewis wins today, I think that could be one hand on the trophy. So here's hoping Seb can challenge. A little bit of understeer there, going through Dunlop. Weber's behind. That Renault that spun at turn 1 or whatever happened is not going now. So all 20 cars are still running in this race. But 27 laps ahead of us. Let's see what the race pace is like, and let's see if we can try and challenge these guys here today and see if we have an interesting race. Already I'm on the back of Verstappen here, and I feel like I've got the edge early on, so let's see if that's true or not, whether that's just...
start was okay, now stay alert for threats around you.
Yeah, whether that's just a stronger part of the track. I'm not really sure where I'm strong here. I know the final sector is very poor for me. I lose a lot out of that final traction zone. I'm actually quicker than the AI, but on pace through sectors 1 and 2. I just lose about half a second in that final chicane. The AI just get the traction down and I can't match it because of the bump. So we're going to see how we get on. Hopefully the toe pays dividends, but we've got the run of Verstappen here. Overtake mode engaged. I'm trying to use up my ERS here, and we might have a chance and have a run at Verstappen here. Around the outside, I'm going to have a look, but no way through. Max does defend the inside quite nicely. Can we get any traction down here? Yes, we do. That's good traction there, good exit. Here we go. We're going to power past Verstappen, and that's something I didn't expect, but we are going to get the job done, and we are past and into P4. So there we go then. Positive start to the race, and going forwards. Seb's also right at the back of Lewis here, challenging, so let's catch up to Butler if we can, and try and help out Sebastian here, make it 2 versus 2 in terms of Ferrari versus Mercedes. Okay, Sebastian setting the pace on lap 2.
Race officials have enabled DRS is now available.
Yep, DRS is now available, so let's try and see if we can pull away from Verstappen here and try and shake off the Red Bull and try and get a 1 second gap. Vettel's actually in the first place now, so he's actually overtaken Lewis with that DRS. So Seb into P1 here, good stuff from him. Hopefully he can keep it up. I'm going to try and see if I can catch up now and try and give him a helping hand, because it'd be great to really help him out in this battle. At the minute I'm struggling to shake off Verstappen.
Gap to car in front is 2.5 seconds.
Personal best there from me as Lewis re-overtakes Sebastian with DRS into turn 1. So those two are battling away. I'm just starting to shake off Max here. I'm struggling, the tyres are going off already. So it's a bit of an awkward phase at the minute. I think the race will be a lot more interesting on the hard tyre. Similar to Sochi, we got more interesting on the mediums in Sochi. So yeah, I think it's just about surviving and trying to get the stint length out on this soft tyre for now. Okay, Seb retakes first place. Looks like those two are exchanging positions every single lap now, with DRS of course on the pit straight. Slipstream's quite effective around here as well, so they're going to keep battling it seems. And I've just managed to shake off Verstappen. He's over a second behind, so now we can begin our chase after Devon Butler and see if we can try and catch up the back of him. I was a little bit wide there, just struggling on tyres at the minute. Got quite a bit of understeer. I've already requested a bit more front wing on the next pit stop because I'm really...
Moving to mix 2. Fuel to mix 2. Okay, gap ahead is 3.5 seconds.
Yeah, just losing a bit of ground to Butler now, and I was saying before, I'm just struggling a bit for front end grip. I've got severe understeer at the minute on the tyres that have started to worn out. The good news is, Sebastian's starting to open up a gap and he's actually pulled away. I think he's over a second clear of Lewis, which is good. I'm kind of waiting for the pit stop though, it should be in next lap, so just trying to wait for that and hopefully my race will come alive then, because at the minute, I feel like we're not really going anywhere, so we'll see how we get on.
Going off the sim data, we expect you're going to start feeling the effect of tyre wear around about now. Let us know if it gets too bad.
Don't worry mate, I'm already feeling it quite badly. Just got to try and hold on for one more lap. Also, notice who's behind us. Charles Leclerc in the Racing Point, his first race, P5. Good performance from him. Let's try and have a strong in lap though. One more lap to go on these tyres. Both the Red Bulls have already pitted, so I do wonder if maybe they're going for a two-stop strategy. Maybe they can't make their tyres last. Either way, we're going to stay out for one more here. We're going to pit in now at the end of lap 8, so let's have a strong in lap if we can.
Pit window open. Let's box this lap.
Right, here we go then. Into the chicane. Fuel and ERS turned down. We've also made the front wing change. Tyres have gone. Let's make sure we don't speed now and get it all slowed down. There we go. Pretty comfortable, pretty conservative entry. Now we need a good stop.
Go, go, go.
Oh, damn it. That was terrible. That was terrible. I've done it pretty good the last few races, but that was the first time in a while I've got it wrong. Really, really badly wrong there. So, yeah, just pulled the clutch a little bit too early, unfortunately. So a 2.5 stop wasn't a great one anyway. But we're now on the hard tyres. Hopefully we can have some clean air. That'd be great. Here we go, up to speed.
Look after these tyres now. We want to finish the race on this compound.
It's going to be close, but we are going to rejoin just in front of Lando Norris here and a pack of cars behind him, so that's crucial for track position. Now let's try and push on this out lap a little bit if we can, and try and switch on these hards with the improved front wing adjustment. Okay, so Seb stays out, as do the two Mercedes, so could they be going long, try and get the medium tyre on at the end possibly? Seems like that might be the best way to do it.
The gap behind us is 4.3 seconds.
So we're going to use these laps to try and undercut the Mercedes and see if we can try and get track position and then defend that position later on in the race. But let's see if we can try and use these hards to pick up an undercut. We've got to make up a lot of ground, especially with that poor pit stop. But let's give it a go.
Sebastian is in the pits.
There we go. Seb does pit in now. So let's see what we've done. That means at least one of the Mercedes is going to have to stay out. At least one of them. On for a personal best. Again, a nice tow from Grosjean. Hopefully we'll pick up some DRS and pass him on the pit straight. Or he might pit in because he's on those soft tyres. Okay, so he stays out, so let's try and get this overtake done. DRS, here we go. Personal best. Breeze past the Haas, and there we go. Vettel and the Mercedes have rejoined the circuit. Let's push on for one more lap here, although we can't really do much of an undercut.
Some information on Hamilton. They have an issue with their car.
Oh,
they're going to be slow.
Right. Big for the championship. Hamilton with car issues. He's just rejoined the circuit, I think. Or he's stayed out, one or the other. First of all, though, we've got to tackle this traffic. We've got 3 cars to pass here. And this is going to make things awkward for us. So the undercut's in the bin because we can't go at full pace because of this bit of a traffic jam here. So let's just not rush into things here and take it easy. So first of all, let's get past these Degners because they're awkward. Lance Stroll's going very, very slow here. Good exit. We've got the one on Lando, or sorry, Carlos Sainz. Down the inside of the McLaren, we'll make that one an easy pass. A little bit wide on entry there, just to shove Carlos wide.
Good job, nice overtake.
Cheers, Jeff. Now we're going to try and power pass Giovinazzi, maybe try and get him into Spoon. Getting a nice toe here on the Alpha. Down the inside. That was close to Stroll there. Now we've got to wait behind the Racing Point, going very, very slow. Here we go. Good traction. Power past. And there we go, we're ahead. Job done. Up into P5. Lewis in front with car trouble. Let's try and chase him down. So there we are, we're P4. Devon Butler's rejoined on mediums.
The car ahead is coming to fit the mediums. Car ahead, now running medium tyres.
He's behind Lewis, but he's going to have to pass him now. So, yeah, it's looking like Devon's going to pick up P2. Looking good for Seb, though. Hopefully he can pick up the win. But let's try and catch up to Lewis before his car gets back to normal. Okay, so Devon has passed Lewis. That's my time and my chance. I'm really not enjoying this race. I can't lie, the car feels horrible and I've got no feeling. So to be honest with you, if I get a podium out of this, regardless of the circumstance, I'm not going to complain because it's been a tough one. It really has been. Similar to Sochi, just not enjoyable. But I've just got no feeling in the wheel around this circuit. I don't really enjoy that. Nonetheless, let's catch up to Hamilton though. You can see he's visibly just going so slow and struggling. So let's try and get this pass done. Here we go then, into the Casio triangle. I think I've just got DRS off of Lewis. Yes, we have. I don't know if I'll pass him into turn 1. It could be close. Depends if he's got a straight line speed issue. Here we go then, DRS, and it looks like he's okay on the straight. So it won't be a pass on the straight, but it will be, I think, just after turns 1 and 2. Into 2, here we go. I think the S is.
Behind is dropping back. We're seeing a gap form.
Let's make this a simple pass, shall we? Let's not overdo it. No need to make any mistakes. You can see how he's just struggling so much through the corners. So hard to get by though, find a space, to be honest. Good one up the hill. We're going to try and get alongside him here. A little bit of contact. Lewis with the squeeze. Not letting me go just yet. Switch back at Degner. Down the inside of Degner 2. And there we go, Lewis finally lets go. That was a little bit more scary than I thought it would be, but job done. We're up to P3. Now we can try and pull away. Obviously, I don't think we've got the pace to get Butler. I really don't. I'd love to say we do, but we don't. Especially because we're on a slower tyre and it's more worn out as well. Let's just try and secure this third place because it means we will gain some points in the championship on Lewis, who could still go even further backwards depending on how long his issues persist for. Let's pick up our first track extension of the race there. Right then, let's get ahead down and pretty much half race distance. We've still got another half of the race to go. Let's get to work.
They're speeding up again, so I expect they fixed whatever the problem was.
Okay, could that be Lewis? I guess time will tell. I feel like Stroll had a car problem as well in the Racing Point before. So my gut tells me it'll be one of the two drivers. But the only one I'm aware of that has car trouble is Lewis. So I guess we'll find out very shortly. Okay, I think Lewis is fine now. He's got going again. I'm not shaking him off. And he's starting to put the pressure on again. I've been saving ERS this lap. I've been running it in none and low to try and save some battery just in case if we have to defend. But it does feel like Lewis has got his car going again. And whatever issue he had is fixed. So it looks like the pressure's going to be on again here. And Lewis could be about to mount an attack. Well then I think Lewis is going to have a go at me here with DRS. Going to run some rich mix. I think I should be okay into turn 1. Yeah, we should be okay. There we go. But it begins. It's going to be a big battle this, 10 laps to go. I'm on worse tyres. This is going to be tricky. Lewis has got the run of me here. He's not going to commit to it into 130. I thought he might have done there, but not quite. The pressure is on though. I'm really struggling to have any decent pace. Well, the pace is okay for my standards, but compared to Lewis, he's so much quicker. Here we go then. He's much closer this time. I'm going to have to use the saved up battery to try and defend. Lewis to the outside into turn 1. It's going to be close. I've got to leave the room. I've got the inside for 2, but Lewis just takes it. And not much I can do, unfortunately. I just don't have the grip or the confidence to keep my car there. I've got no grip at all. And Lewis goes around the outside. Fantastic overtake. Move of the race so far. Looks like P4 for us in this race. Nothing we can do. Managed to stick with Lewis on this lap. He hasn't actually run away from me. We struggle to get any traction though out of there, which is annoying because I'm not going to get to challenge him on the pit straight. But
we're catching the car ahead, but be aware that these tyres need to last till the end of the race.
Yeah, exactly. I've got to try and get to the end. Also, I think I can try and do a bit like Russia and just wait behind Lewis, try and charge up my fuel and my battery, and see if I can challenge him at the end of the race maybe. Let's see if we have pace. I'm going to try and study him for a few laps and see if we can try and keep up with the 5-time world champion. I will say the car feels a lot better now. Seems like the fuel's burnt off and the car feels a lot more like it did in qualifying, a lot more just nimble, a lot lighter, a lot more agile, and I think that's when my pace has improved a bit. I think the lighter the car gets, the faster I'm getting. I've been able to save a bit of fuel on ERS behind Lewis here, and this is charging up and looking quite good at the minute, and I think we're actually catching Butler as well. Obviously we're a little bit too far behind, I think, the challenge, but overall the pace is good, and the following Lewis is actually suiting me quite well and actually doing me quite good. Getting really close to Lewis there. I'm on for a personal best, nearly 4/10 up on this lap. Walk back and just letting go a little bit there, struggling for some traction. But you know what, this is working. Personal best. I'm just following Lewis, I'm setting it up. A part of me is tempted to just pass him now and see if I can catch Devon Butler, but I don't think we've got that much pace. The race is coming to me though. The lighter the cars get on these tyres, it seems like
Okay, we've got plenty of energy. Switch to overtake and have a go.
it does seem like the medium maybe fades a lot quicker, similar to the soft tyre, so I've definitely got the tyre advantage now. I think I fancy trying to get past Lewis and have a look at Devon Butler maybe. I'm going to pass him.
We pretty much burned off our excess fuel. We'll be back on target soon. Don't wait too long to turn the engine down.
I'm going to pass Lewis now and see if I can actually pull away. Pretty decent exit there. There we go. Turn the engine up. Here we go. Then let's try and pass Lewis and let's have a go at trying to pull away and see if it pays off. We're going to go around the outside. There we go. Alright, let's see if we have any pace left. I think we're doing this. Personal best 31.5. Gap to Devon 6.2. Let's crack on with this. I think we can do this. At least secure third place, that's for certain.
Okay, you're catching the car ahead, but remember, we need to get to the end of the race on these tyres.
I'm flying, man. It gap to Butler 4.8. That's 1.4 in a lap. Seems like the hard tyres are just holding on much better. And now the fuel's coming out. The car feels really agile again, like qualifying. And I think those mediums might have gone. Let's keep pushing. 2 laps to go. I think it's going to be very close. I need Butler to drop more pace, but we're going to keep going and not give up. Here we go then. Through 130R, last lap of the Grand Prix. And Seb is going to win the race, which is good news for us in terms of the Constructors and the Drivers' Championship. Lewis P4, and in the end, I think I've done that on merit. Even though Lewis had car trouble, we had better pace towards the end, and we're going to come home P3. Get in there. Grazie ragazzi.
Okay, good job, mate. Really well done. That was a fantastic drive.
Well, what a drive that was to take the win for Ferrari today. Anthony Davidson, what helped them deliver this result, do you think?
I think a large part of the result comes down to temperament. They were able to keep their heads when everyone around them was losing theirs, and that's allowed them to get the best out of the car, to maximise the strategy and to stay out of trouble.
Ferrari are at it again, an excellent performance at today's Grand Prix, and they're certainly a team that know what they're doing out there.
Right, so looking at the final race results, Sebastian Vettel wins the Japanese Grand Prix ahead of Devon Butler and myself. Lewis Hamilton P4 with some car trouble, but overall I think on merit we deserved it. You know, we came alive at the end, and to be fair, I fancied to go at that fast up of the Grand Prix from Sebastian at 31.2, but we just lacked a little bit more pace. I think if I was on mediums I could have done it, but you know what, I'm really happy. And what was a miserable weekend and a really bad race up until the halfway point turned into a really good one because yeah, I'm just happy. From P5 on the grid, we got P3, we got a podium, and we had some better pace towards the end. So there are some positives there. But in terms of the Red Bulls, Max Verstappen 7th, Lucas Weber P8, very poor race. They went for the 2-stopper, they couldn't make the tyres last, and the Red Bull struggling. Charles Leclerc, in his return to Formula 1, P5 in the Racing Point in his debut. Really good result for him, really happy for him. And then we've got Magnussen in between Leclerc and the Red Bulls, and then we've got Raikkonen and Sainz running out the top 10 with George Russell just missing out the points. But in terms of what the race means for the Drivers' Championship, Lewis Hamilton leads by 24 points over Sebastian Vettel, 38 over myself. Devon Butler now with, I believe, 100 points up for grabs. He's 83 behind. It's looking very, very narrow for him now. And he's starting to fade out of the championship picture quite quickly now. In terms of the constructor standings, though, we extend our lead over Mercedes, and we are 21 points clear going into the final 4 races at USA, Mexico, Brazil, and Abu Dhabi. So, yeah, overall, good race for us today, and a much needed win to stop Hamilton's momentum, and hopefully we can try and put some upgrades onto the car and try and improve our performance going into the next race or the next coming races. We do have a major engine upgrade on the way for Mexico, and we'll see how that one pans out. But yeah, let's jump into the laptop and put some upgrades onto the car.
That was a close duel with Devon. How are you planning to come out on top of your rivalry? You shared a few podiums with Devon back in F2. How does it feel in Formula 1? Do you think that you learned a lot from your rivalry? Appreciate your time.
Okay, so here we are on the R&D screen, and I think we're going to do some more R&D part protecting once again, because I could upgrade the car, but we do have that big engine upgrade on the way for Mexico. So for now, we're just going to focus on next season and keep one eye on that. So we're going to focus on some protection. So we're going to go for any upgrade, really. We'll go for turbo durability, because that was a little bit more expensive. So we'll get those on the car. There we go. And we're getting there. We've only got 6 more to go. So overall, so good. So far, so good. We've also protected these 2 chassis ones as well. So yeah, we're getting there. And I think we're going to be able to maintain all of our hard work, and dare I say, actually add some more upgrades over the winter. But yeah, guys, with that being said, that is it for this episode of Career Mode. If you did enjoy it, then drop a like on the video, and also get subscribed daily for more on content, and turn on notifications to not miss a video from me. Finally, check out these 2 videos on your screen if you have missed them. But other than that, guys, thank you for watching. I'll see you in my next one very soon. But until then, it's goodbye from me.